Hello, I'm Harry Riley. Welcome to Harry's 10-Minute Tales. This is called Assegai by Harry Riley. It was barely a fortnight since my strange escapade at Castle Ballantine, when I had been transported back in time to the Battle of Flodden Field with Blackjack, Ballantine and King James. Aunt Gwen said this was merely delirium after a fall and a bang on the head, but I knew different. It was something to do with the ancient silver-handled dagger, once belonging to Blackjack Ballantine, and which I was now carefully polishing. She thought the weapon was possibly stolen property, and should be handed to the police or a museum. My name is Mark Howard, on holiday in the Scottish borders. I am 14 and live with my parents in Surrey, England. At school I am known as a history buff, and hope one day to study history at university, becoming a brilliant professor. Yes, that would be good. Today my aunt has caught the bus to Coldstream to fetch the messages and do a bit of shopping. I'm alone in the cottage, and my mind is absorbed with historical events of the 1870s. As my thoughts drift away, I wish I could have been there to witness history being made. Observing a fleck of dust on the dirk, I absent-mindedly blow on the blade, and whoosh! Something is crawling up my arm, and glancing down I realise it's a giant spider. Hardly daring to move, I shudder and hurl it away, and all around is dense, hostile jungle. An African boy of about my age is staring wide-eyed at me from behind a tree. He approaches and digs me playfully in the ribs with his assegai short spear, grinning through broken teeth and accidentally knocking off my spectacles, which cracks one of the lenses. Then he signals for me to follow him. We run along a pathway, and I have difficulty keeping up. In no time at all we have reached his village, a collection of circular mud huts with straw roofs. Men, women and children are milling about, and cattle are lowing in the compound. He shouts, announcing his entrance. Surrounded by curious natives, I am led to the chief, a fierce bull-necked man. Commanding me to sit, he asks where I am from. England, I hesitantly reply. Do you know the doctor? Still breathless and taken aback that he can speak English, I am at a loss to answer, but he invites me to sit and eat with him. My new friend, his son, proudly tells me his name. I'm Archie. We share a bowl of maize that looks like mashed potato. A lump is taken by the fingers and rolled into a ball before being dipped into another bowl of sauce. Being ravenous, I soon become accustomed to the taste. Archie tells me one day I too will be a great king like my father and have lots of warriors. We have many sick folk in the village, and the doctor treats them daily. Bad men often take prisoners and are never seen again. Your great white queen has sent the doctor to help us fight disease. He has taught us about Jesus Christ, and the way he too was killed by evil men who took people away. Before the doctor came, we spoke only Shona, the language of Zambia, and the doctor is my grandfather. I sleep soundly that night and awake in broad daylight to a great commotion. Archie shakes me and says, "Come, it is the doctor." I see a pale-skinned, middle-aged man with a grey-white beard enter the village, surrounded by noisy, adoring natives. He spots me as I also stand out in my strange clothes and white skin. "I'm from Scotland," he says, shaking my hand, and then roughing up my grinning friend's hair in a gesture of familiarity. We are interrupted as suddenly a warrior crashes into the village, warning that traders are near. We have to hide ourselves, and the missionary is led into a hut. Archie gives me an assegai, and scared, we run and hide in the bush. Seconds later the traders rush in, firing guns indiscriminately, grabbing women and children to sell as slaves. Several are taken before the doctor comes out to negotiate their release. Money changes hands, and reluctantly the leader releases the crime victims before moving on to hunt for easier prey. I nudge Archie, who appears to have fallen asleep, and then notice blood pouring down his bare chest from a wound in his neck. The doctor rushes over on hearing me cry out. Without hesitation he shakes his head sadly, muttering in a low voice, "I can do nothing." the boy is dead. He explains, "It was I who gave Archie his English name as a small child and watched him grow. I promised to take him to England one day to meet our Queen, but now it's too late." We stand silently as he says a brief prayer over the dead boy, tears filling his eyes. The grieving father carries his son back to their hut, to the sound of low keening from the mothers. The churchman stays another day for the Christian burial, and in case the traders return, and then I am invited to accompany him back to his hospital home. He says this will give me a chance to see the wondrous beauty known by the Africans as the smoke that thunders, and so we set off, many helpers carrying his baggage. Soon we are close to the giant deafening cataract named by my guide as Victoria Falls, in honour of Queen Victoria. After resting for a while to admire the gorgeous spectacle, we move on and eventually arrive at Lake Tanganyika, so vast I mistake it for the sea. Another large party of travellers are waiting there for us, and a white man approaches a Scottish missionary. Excitedly throwing his white safari helmet in the air, he vigorously shakes my guide's hand. "Henry Morton, Stanley." "Dr. Livingstone, I presume. I've come a long way to find you, and the world believed you dead." The two men talk on the wide veranda of the doctor's hut, and thoroughly exhausted after a long day's travel, I lie down in a patch of shade and sleep. My aunt returns, asking what I've done with my day. "Oh, I've just been to Africa and witnessed the meeting with Stanley and Livingstone." She peers at me closely. "Did you know you've cracked your glasses?" "Yes, aunt, I dropped them in the jungle. Sorry, I mean garden." "Silly boy, your head's still full of nonsense. And put down that nasty-looking spear. You'll cut yourself." End.